मर्निङ लाइभमा फेरि एकचोटि यो ब्रेकपछि यहाँलाई हामी स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ। प्रोग्राम अघि 6:30 बजेदेखि आइरहेको छ र अब अहिले प्रोग्राममा बेला भएको छ हाम्रो पाहुनासँग कुराकानी गर्ने।
अघि पाहुनासँग कुराकानी गर्ने क्रममा आजका हाम्रा पाहुनाहरूको बारेमा र सिनेमाको बारेमा छोटकरीमा हामीले अघि केही भनेका थियौँ। हाम्रा पाहुनाहरू हामीसँग आइसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँहरूको लागि तयार पारेको एउटा छोटो इन्ट्रोडक्टरी भिडियो यहाँहरूको लागि।
पासाङ लामु फाउन्डेसन नेपालको पहिलो महिला सगरमाथा आरोही पासाङ लामु शेर्पाको सम्झनामा सन् 1993 मा स्थापित परोपकारी संस्था हो। तिनै आरोहीकी छोरी दावा फुटी शेर्पा फाउन्डेसनको अध्यक्ष हुनुहुन्छ। न्युयोर्क विश्वविद्यालयबाट स्नातकोत्तर गरेकी शेर्पासँग विकास, सांस्कृतिक आदान प्रदानको महत्त्व लगायत बारेमा जानकार दावा फुटीले 2 वर्ष स्पेनका लागि नेपाली राजदूतका रूपमा काम गरिसक्नु भएको छ। न्यान्सी स्भेन्सन चलचित्र निर्देशक हुनुहुन्छ। मिन्नेसोटा विश्वविद्यालयबाट MBA गरेकी न्यान्सीले स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्रमा 2 दशक बढी समय काम गर्नु भएको छ। पछि फिल्म मार्फत कथा वाचनमा होमिएकी न्यान्सीले पासाङ इन स्याडो अफ एभरेस्ट निर्देशन गर्नुभयो। त्यही पासाङ लामु फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष दावा फुटी शेर्पा र चलचित्र निर्देशक न्यान्सी स्भेन्सन आजको हाम्रो अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ।
हजुर, उहाँहरू हाम्रो स्टुडियोमा आइसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँसँग कुरा गर्नुभन्दा पहिला उहाँलाई हाम्रो प्रोग्राममा स्वागत गरौँ। यहाँलाई हाम्रो प्रोग्राम दिस मर्निङ लाइभमा हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ र नान्सी, वेलकम टु आवर शो।
Thank you so much.
Good morning. How hard was it to get up early in the morning and to be here?
Well, I just arrived in Nepal yesterday or early in the morning, and so I don't know what time it is, so it was easy.
मैले दावाजीलाई पनि सोधेँ हैन, यो पूर्व राजदूत अहिले फेरि एकैचोटि सिनेमाको एज अ एक्जिक्युटिभ प्रोड्युसर, यो कसरी भयो?
यो मुभी मेरो ममको आधारित भएको हुनाले फाउन्डेसनको तर्फबाट, फ्यामिलीको कनेक्सनबाट राजदूतबाट आज चाहिँ एक्जिक्युटिभ प्रोड्युसरको रूपमा यहाँ आइपुगेको छु। हजुर।
सो यो तपाईहरुको फाउन्डेसनले नि के काम गर्छ? मुभी त हामीले भर्खरै अब कुराकानी गर्छौँ नै, के काम गर्छ? यसको कामको बारेमा थोरै भन्नु।
सो हाम्रो फाउन्डेसनले चाहिँ वुमेन एम्पावरमेन्ट, एजुकेसन, हेल्थ त्यो सेक्टरमा चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ हामीले फोकस खुम्बु रिजनमा गरिरहेको छौँ र भविष्यमा चाहिँ खुम्बु रिजनबाट अरू नेपालका अरू ठाउँहरूमा पनि हामीले काम गर्ने अपेक्षा गरेका छौँ।
While we were watching that introductory video, we found out that you were involved in health sector for past 20 years. Why this shift now?
Well, that was my first career. This is my second career as a filmmaker, and I did spend about 20 years as a healthcare executive in the United States. But about that, after those 20 years, my sister married a Sherpa man, Angvarji Sherpa, and they live near me in the San Francisco area. And I was at their home for dinner one night, and Dorji told me the story of his sister, who is Pasang Lamu Sherpa. And it was just an extraordinarily moving story as he told it to me. And he had wanted to make a film about her, but he didn't have the resources. He actually came to Nepal in 1997. After 1993 is when she summited and passed. But in 1997 he came and filmed a few interviews, but then they couldn't get funding for the film, and all of those files just sat in a box on a shelf. And so when I came along, and I felt this incredible connection to her story, which I found so incredibly empowering, really. And so I said, I would like to help you make this film. And so he said, I'll help you. He said, I'll introduce you to my niece, Dawa, and we started from there.
How challenging it is?
It was challenging, yes. It took 10 years. Yes.
Really?
दावाजीलाई सोद्धाखेरि यो सिनेमा बनिसक्यो, यत्रो धेरै फिल्म अवार्ड्सहरू पनि यसले पाएको छ हैन? आफूले हेर्दाखेरि, किनकि यो त यहाँसँग इमोसनली कनेक्टेड पनि छ नि, आफूले हेर्दाखेरि आफूले देखाउन खोजेको कुरा सिनेमामा देखिएको छ। आर यु ह्यापी विथ दिस?
यस, यो फिल्म अघि नान्सीले भन्नुभयो जस्तै 10 वर्ष लाग्यो। उहाँले जब उहाँ आउनुभएको थियो हामी कहाँ यो फिल्म बनाउने भनेर एकदमै इमोसनल प्राइभेट कुरा भयो अनि मलाई सोचिरहेको थिएँ यो म रेडी छु कि छैन यसरी हुन्छ नि मेरो इन्टरभ्यूहरू हुन्छ फ्यामिलीको बारेमा कुराहरू बाहिर आउँछ राम्रो कुराहरू तर अलिक पर्सनल कुराहरू अनि तर 10 वर्ष लाग्यो यो फिल्म बनाउन अनि उहाँलाई फुटेजेसहरू इन्टरभ्युजहरू कति त धेरै ठाउँबाट खोज्नुभयो उहाँले होइन अनि लास्टमा चाहिँ मलाई कस्तो लाग्यो भने एउटा मेरो मम्मी बित्नु भएपछि हाम्रो लाइफ त गइरह्यो हामी बोर्डिङ स्कुलमा गयो अनि लाइफ बितिरहेको थियो तर एउटा थेरापी जस्तो एउटा एकदम थेराप्युटिक एउटा प्रोसेस पनि भयो हाम्रो लागि मेरो लागि स्पेसली अनि जब न्यान्सीले मलाई यो फाइनल कट दिनुभयो मलाई फिल्म हेरेर एकदमै आई वाज भेरी ह्याप्पी एकदमै खुसी लाग्यो आई थिङ्क सी इज डन अ जस्टिस टु द फिल्म टु हर स्टोरी अनि yeah, so I'm very happy, we're very happy, the family is very happy with the turnout and how the film is produced and also जसरी अहिले यो फिल्म फेस्टिभल्सहरू जानुभएको छ अवार्ड्सहरू जितिरहनु भएको छ र अहिले चाहिँ हामी नेपालमा देखाउनको लागि एकदमै उत्सुक एकदमै एक्साइटेड छौँ
सो 10 years त लाग्यो मुभी बनाउनलाई होइन यसलाई हामीले यो छ नि बायोपिक भनेर बुझिरहेछौँ सो यसमा क्यारेक्टरलाई नयाँ क्यारेक्टर राख्नु भएको छ कि यसमा कसरी यो फिल्म कसरी बन्यो त्यो अलिकति प्रोसेस भन्नु
सो यो चाहिँ डकुमेन्ट्री भयो उहाँको स्टोरीको आधारितमा सो यसमा चाहिँ रियल इन्टरभ्युजहरू छ जस्तै कि फ्यामिलीको इन्टरभ्युजमा मेरो मामाको मेरो बुवाको एकदमै पुरानो इन्टरभ्युजहरू जो हामीले पनि देखाएको थिएन होइन अनि त्यसपछि उहाँसँग क्लाइम गर्नुभएको इन्टरभ्युजहरू फुटेजेसहरू सो त्यो बेलाको 90s को बेलाको एउटा माहौल जुन थियो अर्ली डेमोक्रेसी आइरहेको बेलामा त्यो सबैलाई राखेर एउटा डकुमेन्ट्रीको रूपमा राख्नु भएको छ उहाँले
I think I'm going to ask same question to Nancy also. After the product, how satisfied are you with your work as a director and a producer? And what was the process? How did you get all these videos and footages that even she is saying that even she had not seen it? Could you please explain us the process also?
Well, I am happy, and I decided early into the project that I would not stop until I was happy. And so I perhaps could have finished the film 5 years ago, and I would not have been happy. I was really committed to doing justice to her story and my commitment to the family, you know, to have this really be an accurate portrayal of her and because I think she, you know, she is known here in Nepal, of course, but I think she's known in sort of a one-dimensional way, and there wasn't a lot of knowledge about what a complex person she is or she was, and all of the nuances of Nepali society at the time in the early 90s. It was a very you know, a very interesting and difficult time. So yes, I am satisfied. I'm so happy. Audiences have been very receptive all over, you know, the U.S. and Europe, and now we're in Eastern Europe, and we're going to be in South Korea and New Zealand coming up. So and now we're in Nepal. So I'm very happy to be here with the film. I think in terms of the difficulties of making the film. You know, I started with just very, very little. We had Nepali TV footage of the funeral. There was a lot of footage of that, which I think even the family hadn't seen that footage. It had never been, you know, it was just, I had these big files, these big PAL files that I had to have converted, and I had some home video and a small photo album. And so then I started this process of talking to the family and saying, who else was with your mom on these different treks? She tried 3 times prior to 1993. And one of the things I found particularly powerful was the connection to France, because she went to Chamonix prior to 1990, but then again in 1990 for her first climb, which was with a French person, a French climber, and the people that knew her in Chamonix, I knew Lakwasonam, you know, Dawa's father, were so happy to talk about their memories of the two of them coming to France together and of climbing Mont Blanc. and I would go from house to house. I had a French a friend producer from San Francisco who was a native French speaker who went with me, and we would go have tea in someone's house. I mean, this gentleman who is now 90, I think, years old. He was the one who taught Basang how to use crampons and helped guide her up Mont Blanc. And we went to his house and we said, "Do you have pictures?" And he said, "Well, yes, maybe in my attic." And so his wife went upstairs while we were eating to go find pictures. And that's how it happened. I talked to many people and they said, "Oh, you should talk to this person, or you should talk to this person." And people were very generous with their memories, with their materials that they'd saved and pictures. And so it took a long time to gather.
There's as we always say, when something has to happen, the universe puts it all together. Maybe sounds like that right now.
Yeah.
सो फिल्म त अब आज प्रिमियर छ
हजुर।
हैन, अब बाहिर पनि तपाईँले एकदमै धेरै फिल्म देखाइसक्नु भएको छ, अवार्ड पनि पाइसक्नु भएको छ हैन। अब बाहिरको मान्छेहरूले कस्तो खाले कमेन्टहरू, कस्तो खाले उनीहरूको छ नि मुभीको बारेमा के भन्छन्, अनि नेपालको मान्छेले के भन्छ होला, लाइक ल्याङ्ग्वेजको कुरा भयो हैन, डकुमेन्टेसन गरेको कुरा भयो, त्यसलाई अलिकति भनिदिनुहोस्।
हजुर, सो यो मुभी चाहिँ लास्ट इयर मार्चमा 2022 मा प्रिमियर भएको थियो साना बारबरा फिल्म फेस्टिभल्समा। अनि त्यो म चाहिँ त्यहाँ गएको थिएँ प्रिमियरको लागि। अनि एक दिन मात्रै हुनुपर्ने थियो हाम्रो स्क्रिनिङ, बट we ended up having 3 screenings. Four at the first premiere. So the first movie reaction we ended up having more screenings. And since then it's just been positive reviews. Wako's story, it's a very one-dimensional. Nepalma Pasang Lamu Sherpa was the first Nepali woman to climb Everest. There Wako attempts, Wako trials, barema धेरैलाई थाहा थिएन। So यो movie चाहिँ उहाँको लाइफको बारेमा, उहाँको स्ट्रगल्स अनि हार्ड वर्क एन्ड हाउ इम्पोर्टेन्ट इट इज टु ड्रिम बिग भन्ने एउटा मेसेज जुन दिएको छ, त्यसलाई चाहिँ सबैले एकदमै राम्रोसँग पोजिटिभली रेस्पोन्स गर्नुभएको छ।
यो मौकामा मैले यो प्रश्न सोधिनँ भने सायद गलत काम नै हुन्छ होला। यहाँले भन्नुभएको जस्तो हामीले जहिले पनि किताबमा पढेको त्यति कुरा मात्रै हो। यहाँले आफ्नो आमालाई सम्झिनु पर्दाखेरि कसरी सम्झिनुहुन्छ, कस्तो थियो उहाँको पर्सनालिटी, अलिकति थाहा पाउन प्लिज।
हजुर, सो म सानै थिएँ जब उहाँ बित्नुभयो, अनि यो इन्टरभ्यूको माध्यमबाट पनि मैले आफ्नो आमालाई, मम्मीलाई, अरू फ्यामिली मेम्बर्सहरूको इन्टरभ्युजबाट पनि धेरै कुरा उहाँको बारेमा थाहा पाएँ, सिकेँ। सानैमा चाहिँ अब उहाँ एकदमै उहाँले पढ्नु भएको थिएन, गाउँमा हुर्किनु भएको होइन। उहाँले मेरो बुवालाई भेटेर काठमाडौँ सहर 19-20 वर्षमा उहाँहरू काठमाडौँ आउनु भएर उहाँले आफ्नो जीवनी त्यहाँबाट सुरु गर्नुभयो। र उहाँको स्ट्रगल्सहरू मैले जस्तै एउटा हाउसवाइफ, बट एट द सेम टाइम उहाँले मेरो बुवालाई ट्रेकिङ कम्पनीमा हेल्प गर्नुहुन्थ्यो। सो एउटा हाउसवाइफ भएर 3टा बच्चा हुर्काइरहँदा पनि एउटा सपना लिएर, जति कि अब उहाँहरूको ट्रेकिङ कम्पनी थियो, त्यसैले उहाँले देख्नुहुन्थ्यो कि धेरै फिमेल्सहरू अल ओभर द वर्ल्ड केम टु नेपाल टु क्लाइम्ब एभरेस्ट, क्लाइम्ब माउन्टेन। सो उहाँले के सोच्नु भने हामीले किन नचढ्ने, हाम्रै देशको हिमाल होइन। सो त्यो लक्ष्य लिएर चाहिँ उहाँले आफ्नो सपना देख्नुभयो र उहाँ त्यसरी हुर्किँदाखेरि एउटा इन्सपिरेसन, बच्चैदेखि उहाँको एउटा इन्सपिरेसन लिएर म र मेरो भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ उहाँको एउटा इन्सपिरेसन, उहाँको विल चाहिँ हामीले सधैँ सँगै लिएर हिँडिरहेछौँ।
कति रमाइलो लाग्ने रहेछ हामीलाई सुन्दाखेरि पनि होइन। थ्याङ्क यू, यो त एउटा हिस्टोरिक मोमेन्ट हामीले सेयर गर्ने मौका पायौँ, त्यसको लागि धन्यवाद। अझै हामीसँग हाम्रो अतिथिसँग केही कुराकानीहरू त छन्, तर अहिलेलाई भने एउटा छोटो ब्रेकको समय भएको छ। ब्रेकपछि विल बी राइट ब्याक।
Goodwill Finance, financing for success since 1995.
Goodwill mai cha vishwas janta ko, Goodwill mai ho sathi safalta ko.
Goodwill Finance, financing for success since 1995.
Galaxy This Morning Live, co-sponsor Goodwill Finance Limited, financing for success since 1995. Associate sponsor Nepal Wool House, Hotahiti, Asan, Kathmandu. Wellness partner Tranquility Spa. Balance your body, mind and spirit.
यो छोटो ब्रेकपछि प्रोग्राम फेरि एकचोटि हामी हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ। आजको प्रोग्राममा हामी कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ एउटा मुभीको बारेमा, जुन मुभी हामीले सायद हेर्नको लागि कुरेका थियौँ अथवा थिएनौँ। अब आइसकेपछि त्यो मुभी हेर्नै पर्छ भन्ने खालि सोच विचार छ र मुभीको नाम हो पासाङ इन द स्याडो अफ एभरेस्ट। यसैसँग सम्बन्धित फिल्म मेकर, त्यसै गरी पासाङ लामो शेर्पा पासाङ लामो फाउन्डेसनका प्रेसिडेन्ट दावा फुटी शेर्पा, त्यसै गरी फिल्म मेकर न्यान्सीसँग हामी कुराकानी गरिरहेका छौँ। र यो मुभीको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्ने क्रममा मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्यो भने सरिता, एकचोटि यो मुभीको ट्रेलर हेर्नै पर्छ होला, त्यसपछि मुभीको बारेमा फेरि कुराकानी गरौँला। त्यसैले अब एकैछिन लाग्छौँ ट्रेलरतर्फ।
I'm trying to think of a time when a woman goes after her dreams and her character is not questioned, when her motivation is not questioned.
I had heard about her dream and her challenge of being the first Nepalese woman to climb Everest.
It's hard to imagine how many barriers she had to overcome. She was an ethnic minority, she was a woman.
I'm sure she was rightfully outraged for not being allowed to go to the top of Everest. So it is natural for her to show the rest of the world, say, listen, I can do this myself. And in a male-dominated society, she spoke to the hearts of many women at the time who had no courage to do what she was doing.
Instead of just sitting and being patronized, she's actually talking back and letting the Prime Minister know what she thinks.
I don't think Pasang was very involved politically before that. But after 1990, everything that anyone did in Nepal had to be thought about in political terms.
Climbing Everest is a physical and mental marathon.
As a Sherpa, that's how we live, working as a guide.
Pasang Lamu spoke of herself as representing the Sherpa community, but also representing Nepali women. That must have turned some people's world upside down.
I think my mom was so ahead of her time.
The day she went for a summit, all of a sudden the weather was changed.
Wow. After watching this trailer, we see that it's in English, and right now we mentioned that we've shown it in different countries. Tonight, this evening, we're premiering it here in Kathmandu or Nepal, let's say. So is it, will it also be available in Nepali subtitle, or what other languages are we going to do this in?
So different festivals जाँदाखेरि जस्तै कि स्पेनमा उहाँले स्पेनिश सबटाइटल्स राखिदिनुहुन्छ, फ्रान्समा, अब इटलीमा हुँदैछ, साउथ कोरियामा they'll have त्यहीको भाषाको सबटाइटल्स. नेपालमा चाहिँ आज प्रिमियरमा चाहिँ we will be showing in English इन्टरभ्युजहरू जेको ओरिजिनल भर्जनमा. तर हामीले यो फिल्म चाहिँ गाउँघरमा पनि देखाउने हाम्रो प्लान छ र हामी त्यसको लागि चाहिँ नेपालीमै डब गर्दैछौँ. र यो शुक्रबार हामी लुक्ला जाँदैछौँ. यो आइतबार उहाँको 30औं वर्ष हो र त्यसको अवसर पाएर हामीले यो मुभीलाई असली यो हप्ता देखाउने प्लान छ र लुक्लामा चाहिँ हामीले नेपालीमा देखाउँदैछौँ.
यो फिल्मको ट्रेलर हेर्दै गर्दाखेरि मलाई चाहिँ गुजबम्पै आयो कि. सो मैले उहाँको स्ट्याच्यु देखेको, अलिअलि सुनेको मात्र थिएँ र लाइभ यसरी हेर्नु पाउँदाखेरि एकदमै राम्रो पनि लाग्यो. थ्याङ्क यू सो मच Nancy for making this beautiful movie.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
After watching this movie, how do you think the rest of the world will perceive Nepali women?
I think that there's one of the things that
or overall women.
Well, I think one of the things that was so empowering to me in when I first met Pasang through this footage was how relatable she was. How universal the story was. I mean, yes, it's set in the late 80s and early 90s in Nepal, but the idea of a woman wanting to choose her own life and wanting to not to have others choose what she can do or what she can't do, that's a universal desire, I think, for women. And so I think that women, certainly in the United States and Europe, where I've been with festivals, are very inspired to watch this, incredibly courageous woman standing up for herself and what she wanted to do, and as a result, for other Nepali women at a time when, things were not so easy, I think, in that time in Nepal, and quite frankly, many other places in the world. The United States, we have lots of problems as well.
सो फेरि एकचोटि म यहाँलाई प्रश्न गर्न चाहन्छु होइन र पासाङ लामो फाउन्डेसनले बच्चालाई अनि त्यसपछि महिलाहरूमा काम गर्छ भनेर यहाँले भन्नुभयो होइन अहिले कस्तो खाले प्रोग्रामहरू रन गरिरहनु भएको छ मुभी त आउन लागिरहेको छ त्यसको लागि अब कङ्ग्रेचुलेसन्स पनि अनि बेस्ट अफ लक पनि दुईजनालाई र अहिले काम गरिरहेको के हो त्यो बारेमा
हजुर सो मैले अघि पनि भनेको थिएँ मेरो उहाँले चाहिँ पढाइ उहाँले कहिले पनि पाउनु भएन एजुकेसन होइन सो त्यसलाई नै हामीले यो फाउन्डेसन चाहिँ उहाँको सपनाहरू अधुरो सपनाहरू किनभने उहाँले चाहिँ हिमाल चढेर आएपछि म यो गर्छु भनेर सपनाहरू देख्नु भएको थियो नि त्यो सपनाहरूलाई पुरा गर्ने लक्ष्यले हामीले यो फाउन्डेसन स्टार्ट गरेको मेरो बुवाले स्टार्ट गर्नुभयो त्यही वर्ष जुन 1993 मा आफ्टर शी क्लाइम्ड उहाँले त्यही इयर नै रेजिस्टर गरेर फाउन्डेसन दर्ता गर्नुभयो र त्यहाँदेखि चाहिँ हामीले अब स्कलरसिपहरू होइन स्कुलमा स्कलरसिपहरू गाउँघरमा अनि अहिले चाहिँ रिसेन्ट टाइममा चाहिँ हामीले वुमेन ट्रेनिङ्सहरू भोकेसनल ट्रेनिङहरू हाम्रो एउटा हस्पिटल पनि छ लुक्लामा पासाङ लामु निकी भनेर स्विससँग जोइन्ट भेन्चर एउटा हस्पिटल सो त्यस्तो ती प्रोग्राम्सहरूमा काम गरिरहेको छौँ हामीले
Nancy, how hard, difficult was it to put these mountain stories in movie and a documentary? And if you have to go back and remember, what was the most enjoyable moment while making this? And what was the most difficult or like, oh my God, this is just not going forward kind of moment while making that?
Well, it was certainly difficult to weave together the archival on this some of what you just saw in the trailer, this very old footage and lots of it not very high quality, with interviews over 20 years, where we had interviews that were not, the current HD kind of footage, and then contemporary interviews, and then to weave in the beautiful contemporary images of the mountains and of Everest, which I knew, and my team, my editor and my writer, we knew that was very important as a way to have the viewer feel transported and to feel like they were actually in the mountains. So it was really very difficult to do that and took a lot of time. But I had an amazing team, including my team here, Svendsen Sherpa, who Mila Productions supervised all of our shoots in Nepal, and I feel like the result is good. In terms of difficult moments, I will say one of my really emotional times was right before you agreed to do an interview. Because I knew it was very important to have Dawa be a part of the film. And
why was there a chance of her saying no?
Well, but she was not, she hadn't talked about her mom, I think, and it was really emotional. Yeah. And so she was living in New York at the time. And I'd met her in Nepal, but we were building a relationship, and so that she could trust me, and so I was waiting. I said, "Can I come to New York to film you?" And she didn't answer, and she didn't answer, and she didn't answer. And I was at home. I can't make this film if she won't help, and she won't really, talk to me on camera. And then she emailed me back. It was after our holidays, and it was in January. She said, "Oh yeah, it's okay. You can come." And I remember that really well. And since then, we've been working together really closely.
So the hesitation अनि त्यो confusion के को लागि
त्यही त अलिकति प्राइभेट पर्सन भएको हुनाले हामी फ्यामिली नै अब अलिक प्राइभेट अनि अब यसमा उहाँले मलाई थाहा थियो उहाँले अब एकदमै गाह्रो कुराहरू सोध्नु हुने होला छ त्यो अनि त्यो रेडी थिए कि थिएन हैन अब इन्टरभ्यू हुन्छ तर सबैले देख्नेवाला छ त्यसपछि अब खालि फर्स्ट सुरुमा त मम्मीको छोरी भनेर मात्रै भयो तर अब मेरो इमोसन्सहरू जुन मैले पनि अब दबाएर राखेको हुन्छ नि त्यो थाहा नभएको कुराहरू त्यसरी ओपनली कुरा गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ र तपाईँले फिल्म हेर्दाखेरि देख्नुहुन्छ किन भनेर म अलि इमोसनल हुन्छु त्यसमा पनि र त्यसैले अलिकति हेजिटेन्स त्यो थियो तर मलाई पछि के पनि थाहा थियो भने कि यो फिल्म चाहिँ देखाउनै पर्छ र यो जुन स्टोरी छ यो पहिला नै आउनुपर्ने स्टोरी र आज 30 वर्षपछि हामीले ल्याउँदैछौँ यो फिल्म हुँदैछ र त्यो चाहिँ थाहा थियो र यो स्टोरी नेपालमा मात्रै होइन कि ग्लोबली नै जानुपर्छ भनेर त्यही सोचेर नै मैले ओके भने
सो अहिले आर यु ह्याप्पी द्याट यु डिड इट
यस यस यस
यो टिम को coordination कस्तो छ this is applicable to both हैन अनि how easy or difficult was it to coordinate as a team
if I may start in the initial like alikati reluctance थियो only because I like private person भएको हुनाले अब एकदमै सबैको अगाडि आउने भयो अलि अटेन्सन धेरै हैन अटेन्सन कम चाहिने मान्छे म तर न्यान्सी सँगको र्यापर हाम्रो सुरुदेखि नै we met and it felt I mean she's family also हैन मेरो माइजूको दिदी हुनुहुन्छ यो फ्यामिली कनेक्सन पनि भयो रिलेटिभ जस्तै अनि त्यसपछि जस्ट ओभर द इयर्स एकदमै सजिलो मलाई एकदमै स्पेस दिनुभयो शी वाज भेरी रेस्पेक्टफुल to me, to my family, मेरो बुवासँग इन्टरभ्यू गर्न चाहनुभयो र उहाँको पनि अलि क्वाइट प्राइभेट हुनुहुन्छ सो उहाँले त्यो पनि रेस्पेक्ट गर्नुभयो तर सो एकदमै रेस्पेक्टफुल थटफुल वी बिकम रियली क्लोज ओभर द इयर्स उहाँको बच्चाहरू मैले 5 वर्ष हुँदाखेरि भेटेँ अहिले कलेज जाँदै हुनुहुन्छ सो we've stayed in touch it's been a really nice and good friendship that we've become to
Yes, I think it's been a remarkable friendship that we've developed over the years, and you know it's been a long time, 10 years, and we've had our lives happen during that time. You know, I have kids who are now going to college, and so we've lived our lives through this film, and so I feel like it's been really, for the most part, quite easy. And even, you know, with COVID and the advent of Zoom, it's even easier to be in communication. So I was here, I came here several times, and of course Dawa was in the States, and we had interviews in San Francisco and New York, and then we Zoomed.
So अब हामी प्रोग्रामको अन्तमा पनि आइसकेका छौँ फेरि पनि दावाजीलाई एउटा मेरो प्रश्न अब मुभी मेकिङमा त लाग्नु भयो तपाईँ हैन यसपछि पनि अर्को मुभी बनाउनुहुन्छ कि यही मात्रै
No I think this is the first and last यो एउटा फ्यामिली प्रोजेक्ट एउटा उहाँको स्टोरी भएर एज अ एक्जिक्युटिभ प्रोड्युसर मात्रै छु म फिल्म मेकिङमा चाहिँ नो त्यति इन्ट्रेस्ट
तर एज अ टिम I would like to thank both of you for giving the world this documentary, I think, which was very required. Now it will go in our archive as a history. Exactly. Thank you for finally opening up and saying yes, because not only us, but I think everybody will benefit. It's a motivating factor to most of the women in our world. So thank you, and thank you for taking this initiative. Hopefully from her we will see more projects in the future. We wish the movie all the best. We wish the team all the best, and we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You guys are here. We're very happy. That is what it says in Nepali. So here, a small token of love for you.
Thank you so much.
Please.
Thank you.
So this is for her.
Okay. तपाईं आउनु भयो हामी दंग पर्यौं.
Thank you for having us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
हाम्रो पाहुनासँगको यो रमाइलो एकदम क्लोज जसरी हामी बसेको छौं त्यस्तै खालकै गफ एउटा कनेक्सन पनि भयो फेरि पनि यो मुभी चाँडै नै लाग्दैछ यो QFX मा कहिलेदेखि लाग्दैछ यो
अप्रिल 28 वैशाख 14 गतेदेखि QFX मा लाग्दैछ
ओके वैशाख 14 गतेदेखि QFX मा लाग्दैछ यो भने हामीले छुटाउनै नहुने एउटा सिनेमा पनि हो हेर्न जानु होला आफ्नो ठाउँको देशको आफ्नो घरको सिनेमा वर्ल्ड वाइड रूपमा जाँदैछ हेर्नु होला भन्दै फेरि पनि पाहुनालाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिँदै हामी भने एउटा छोटो ब्रेक लिन्छौं र हाम्रो रेगुलर डेस्कमा सृजना र म आइ नै हाल्छौं अहिलेलाई पनि एउटा छोटो ब्रेक